Hi, this is Yvonne Bauer. I'm here to do a quick run through of the interactive activity for engaging in the classroom. What I've decided to do is a Socratic seminar. It's one of the higher level activities that I use in my classroom, so I wanted to share it with my digital students also. So we're in a normal canvas. You will note that the actual interactivity is actually going to occur later, but I'm going to walk you through the beginning process so that you can see what the students are working on. So the very first page is going to be an objectives and agenda page. It is simply for their information, and that's it. I've also included for your benefit the two pieces that we'll be working on. We will not have this in the regular module because the students will have already shredded these poems and be ready to build to the next level. I've scaffolded them through the previous 3 modules. This is actually the 4th and final module. After relooking at the poems, they are going to have a theme assessment. It's going to basically be a topic and subject. Evolution, it's going to be on poll everywhere. It's also interactive. And it will be done synchronously. Then they are going to be discovering the cultural and historic context of those 2 pieces. I've included videos, which is also an interactive activity. One from Tupac that discusses his thoughts on the piece that he wrote, and one from the violence that is occurring over in Myanmar, Burma, today, and how it relates to the history of violence in the country. Following that, they will be ready to begin to engage in the actual interactivity. You'll notice that they have to write their own questions. So this is an upper level questioning activity. They have to write 1 level 2 question for each poem, 1 level 3 question for each poem, and 1 level 3 question that covers the combination of the poem and discusses the historical context and how it had an effect on the author's purpose. Once they have finished the questioning, they are ready to begin the actual interactivity. So we've got a Socratic seminar here. They're going to post each one of their activities separately, each one of their questions separately, and then they will begin to respond to each other. They have a mandate that they respond as first response for at least one, and following all of the responses, they will go back and they will look at their own questions and give a response to it also. This should engage a great deal of dialogue and also some ability to think about the way other people see things. So you'll notice that as the test student here, I've just kind of dropped a couple of replies. So I would look down and I would find one that has no responses yet. This will be the one that will be my first response. And then I will go ahead and answer 2 more questions from other people. This way, every person gets a response on their question, but you also have some deeper level responses that are going to respond to not just the first question, but also the responses that came after the question. Once they are done with this portion of the activity, there will be a final thoughts portion that is also going to be interactive for them, collaborative for them. This one is going to ask them to take a minute to think about how their thinking has grown during this activity. I want them to spend a minute being metacognitive and then discussing it with each other. This is a Padlet activity. If you've never used Padlet, I highly recommend it. So basically, they put little post-it notes on the pad, and they can then respond or like. They can add a comment. They're required. In this course, they are required to respond to at least a couple of them. You will notice that on both the interactive Socratic seminar and on the final thoughts, I've opened up so they can respond in more ways than just writing. They can addendum a video. They can addendum a podcast, an audio response. There are a lot of ways for them to respond, an image, whatever they want to do. We want to do this so that they have the ability to differentiate. So some people are going to be really good at writing their thoughts, and some people are going to be more comfortable doing like a live video of their thoughts. Because the focus of this activity is to discuss how culture and history affect a poem and how it affects the author's purpose, I'm more interested in their metacognition and their the higher level questioning at this point. So the actual means of the answer is not as important to me as the response itself. So this is the activity. I believe that it will create a great deal of metacognition and some pretty good collaboration. Enable them to hear other people's ideas on some of the global issues that are surrounding these two pieces and help them to think deeper and connect the literature to real life.